Hey guys, it's game time once again. This time actually, for a little change of pace, I'm actually playing my budget 2DH rules Nin deck, which of course means that all the cards in the deck, with the exception of the commander, have to be at $2 or lower as far as average price on MTG stocks. There's probably a little slight variance up or down, and I've made two small adjustments just because otherwise I'll be at too big of a disadvantage, I think, in the format. I'm running a Soul Ring, which is actually very much a budget card online, as well as a single Rolling Earthquake, which I arguably could take out to make it truly budget, at least online. I'm up against Glissa the Trader. I actually advertise this as a budget game, but you'll soon see that this guy was actually just playing a regular EDH deck. But we're playing with the basic Commander rules set, the multiplayer list, even though it's 1v1 versus the 1v1 Magic Online only list. So there's a wider range of things you can use. And I play that because the 2DH ban list is different from the 1v1 Commander list, mainly because you get access to the cheap blue search spells, which you really, really miss when you're playing a budget deck in the first place. You're already at a huge disadvantage having to play garbage like Evolving Wilds and stuff, but at least you get to play with some of the better blue cards that are cheap, like Ponder and Preordain, Brainstorm, and so on. I think I'm going second here. And I have a hand that's right on the verge of keepability. It does have Negate as well as Evolving Wilds. But Negate isn't too good against this commander, mainly because the only thing you're probably going to be negating are artifacts, and she can just bring them back trivially if she kills anything. So I don't expect to get a lot of mileage out of the Negate. But I do have the ability to cast Nin. With one more mana, I can get Trinket Mage, which will get me that Soul Ring, and then I'll be able to cast Factor Fiction and go from there. So I decided to keep this hand, given the fact that it's probably a little better than an average 6. And he goes turn 1 Forest with no additional play, which is good stuff. Just hoping to draw a land here, and I get a Cur Keep. Super handy, so now I've got 3 sources of mana to get that Trinket Mage online, looking good. Alright. Just hoping he doesn't have the ubiquitous turn 2 Sylvan. Then he plays a Golgari Rot Farm after tapping a green and just says done. Okay, cool. In good shape. And unfortunately, at the end of his turn, I just clicked too quickly, a little distracted by some other things, and gaming on another device at the same time. And I managed to click through his end step without sacking my Evolving Wilds, because it is not as good as a regular fetch land, as you know. And now I can't play Nin on turn 2 or Negate, which really sucks. So I'm hoping I don't get punished here. I'm just thinking, don't cast something like a Phyrexian Arena or something and make me look stupid. Unfortunately, all he does is play Glissa, so I'm not really that punished here. Probably would have played Nin in the Void here, given the fact that... actually, you know what? I probably wouldn't have. Given the fact that these decks usually play a fair amount of spot removal to activate their general, I probably would have figured that the Negate was more important to have anyway. So this probably didn't affect the outcome of the game, other than change the card that I picked up on that last turn, which was Capsize. All right. And for people who have been asking, I am definitely going to do... My next deck tech will be for this deck, because there's been a ton of demand for a deck tech for it, which is pretty awesome, actually, that people are so receptive to the format. Okay, so hitting 3 mana. I have a number of choices here. He's got his creature, and I can't really negate anything, again, for the reason I stated before. I can't really play Jordan here either, given the fact that I don't have an immediate... I like to play this creature when I hit 5 mana, usually, because it usually can play it plus a 2-mana artifact to draw a card and get value out of it right away, or just play Nin the Pain Artist. Jordan is in there not only because it's a great card-drawing engine in the mid-game, but also because it's got that 3 toughness, and you can shoot it repeatedly with Nin to draw 2 cards repeatedly, which is a really fast way to pull ahead. But I can't play right now. It'll almost certainly be DOA if I do that. So I'm just going to play the Trinket Mage here and go get Soul Ring. Not really. As you can see, I've got Chalice, Map, the 2 lands, and Bauble. These are all the budget versions. I'm not actually running the Jeweled Amulet in here. Oh, that's right, yeah. I'm not running Jeweled Amulet. It normally is in the place of... Soul Ring is taking the place of Jeweled Amulet. The true 1v1 Commander list uses Jeweled Amulet, but I'm cheating with Soul Ring. So you got to have some advantages, right? This card's like $1.50 in real life or something right now, maybe a bit more, but it's been reprinted 18 times. So I'm going to hit Bash for 3 here. Completely fine. And then he plays Demonic Tutor and plays his own Soul Ring. Okay, that's fair. A lot of mana over there now, though. Already he's got 6. And then he plays 2 mana to cast Hangerback Walker, which is a great card to play off of a Soul Ring. Pretty gnarly. This thing is Not only is it just a strong creature in general, but it's really, really good combined with his commander. It presents huge problems for my deck of course, too, because I don't have Cyclonic Rift due to the budget constraints. So it's hard for me to deal with a horde of 1/1 tokens. And if this thing gets out of control, 4 or 5 counters, and I don't have a Treachery in my deck, I do have Control Magic, but I don't have a Treachery, so I have fewer ways to steal it, and I don't have Shackles either. So this is a big-ass problem in the long game. And I can't even destroy it permanently due to his commander. Alright, so I'm just going to play the Sol Ring here and come into play tap land, as my intention is just to play. And I had the other option of playing a Keep, and yeah, I guess because I didn't even have a second red mana, I guess I could have played Jorien. Yeah, play the Keep, play Jorien, play Keep, tap it, and cast Sol Ring and draw a card, which wouldn't be a terrible play, and in retrospect it might have been better, but I was intent on just casting Factor Fiction here at the end of the turn rather than getting another creature on board. Plus it leaves the negate in my hand. It leaves that as an option in case he has something super gnarly, like a 6 or 7 mana Planeswalker, which could be game. Alright, he taps 3 mana, and here's a perfect example of why I kept my mana untapped. In fact, he does have Sword of Fire and Ice. So if I had tapped out and played Jorien there, as well as Nin, he would have equipped, he would have sent in this thing, hit me for a ton of damage, 7 damage, drawn a card, and killed off Nin the Pain Artist, which would have been catastrophic. So I'm very, very glad that I didn't tap out and I kept the negate. Now the only problem, of course, is that if he has a way to immediately destroy Trinket Mage, then I am going to be screwed because he's going to get that Sword of Fire and Ice back. But I have no choice but to counter it now anyway, and now the plan is to just try to keep his creatures out of play. Of course, I can't even consider blocking here, due to the fact that he would just get his sword right back. Alright, and then he plays Deglamour on my Sol Ring. Ah, it's so brutal. Yeah, I was really, really counting on having the extra mana. So this game just went from feeling like relative parity to being really, really tough. I'm really far behind now. I can't let this Trinket Mage die because he'll get Sword of Fire and Ice back. And I have so few ways to interact with the Sword of Fire and Ice once it's out that it's almost certainly going to be game. In fact, it's probably, short of maybe Staff of Nin, it's probably the most powerful permanent in the whole format against my deck. Alright, I draw Forbid, which is pretty handy. So at least I can kill the Sword of Fire and Ice if he tries to play it again. The other thing, too, is that it ruins the whole Keep chump blocking plan. So I don't even have that as an option. I'm not going to attack here, since he could just block with the Hangerback Walker, pump it to 2/2, trade, get 2 1/1 Thopters, and get his Sword of Fire and Ice back, and screw me over. So falling into a very, very deep hole. He's got a lot of mana, too. Looks like he's got 8. And then he casts Chainer's Edict. So, of course, I have the option to counterspell this, but counterspelling it is so bad, mainly because I really want everything in my hand, and I can't buy back the Forbid, but the Forbid is going to be so critical to containing him later in the game that I decide that the only play here, as much as it pains me to do it, is to capsize the Trinket Mage and hope that he doesn't have a way to kill it at instant speed. At least this gets it back in my hand, and I can use it later to fetch more mana, potentially. So that fizzles that. He doesn't have a follow-up. And he's leaving the Hangerback Walker to just continue to grow counters. 9 commander already. Okay, what can I do here? Okay, so I draw a Fire Diamond. And I have a number of different choices here. And I ultimately decide that the correct play is to, well, I think it's to redeploy. Yeah, actually, I think about this for a long time. And I can't play Trinket Mage because he can Chainer's Edict me and kill it and get his sword back. And I've lost the best thing to get in. Actually, I guess the Sol Ring is still in the deck. So I could have played Trinket Mage, but the problem is if I play Trinket Mage, because I didn't draw a land there, I can't play the Sol Ring right now, and I lose the ability to Forbid. And with all of this mana available, I have no way to protect the Trinket Mage at all. He'll certainly kill with Chainer's Edict in order to get the sword back, and I can't counterspell whatever else he might play on the turn. So with that in mind, I decide that I am going to go for a main step Factor Fiction. The idea being here that as long as I don't have any creatures in play, the worst thing that he can do is deploy one of these 2 cards out of his hand, which might just be removal anyway. And he might not have anything. He has no way to regrow the Sword of Fire and Ice. So I'm just going to gamble that those 2 cards are somewhat dead. And hopefully this Factor Fiction allows me to continue to develop my mana. And boy, does it ever. Sol Ring makes a return. Just like that after being deglamored. Pretty phenomenal. So he thinks for a while about about, and I know for sure I'm just taking Soul Ring in second here, no matter how he splits it, and he figures that out too. So he does a great split of 4 and 1. And of course I have to take Soul Ring, even though there's 2 counter spells in there. I'm really not liking Complicate. I think I'm going to cut this card. It's just been bad just about every time that I've had it. 3 mana is too much for a Mana Leak style effect, and I have literally yet to counterspell by cycling. It just hasn't worked at all. I'm going to cut that card pretty soon. All right, but I get to play Soul Ring and play Fire Diamond, so I add 3 more mana to my mana base. And now I've got quite a bit. I'm going to get bashed here because I'm going to take a minimum of 6. My hope here, my hope is that he attacks me with the Hangerback Walker here, that he decides that 3 counters is enough, and that he wants to deal 6 points of pressure. Because if he gets another counter on it, 4 1/1s is a very, very big problem, given the few amount of ways that I have to kill him. If I draw Fire Ice or something, or I would draw away to tutor for Fire Ice, I can take out 2 of the 3 counters and reduce the clock down to nothing. But 2 Thopters is a huge problem. Even after killing him in 4 is obviously a disaster. Okay, and sure enough, he hits me for 6, which is great. All right, I'm taking a lot of General, but I'm down to 15. No further play. All right, these 2 cards are almost certainly removal, is what I conclude. Or just more land, one of the two. But either way, they're not dangerous. So that gives me a little bit of flexibility. And I draw Rewind, which is really, really timely as well, because of its potential use for Cur Keep and other stuff. All right, now it's time to destroy these creatures. I'm down to 15. I can't afford to take another 6 damage, especially when that means that 3 1/1s are coming into play. So this is the window to go ahead and quake away the creatures. And my plan is to just, as painful as it is, to chain counterspell his commander, get it to the point where it costs 9 mana to put into play, or at least 7, in which case I can probably slip a Nin out there, counterspell his playback, and then use Nin once to draw back ahead in the game. As long as the Sword of Fire and Ice never comes back. So, yeah, sure enough, 3 1/1s come out, and I'm just going to say done. It would be crazy to play anything else here. Down to 12 with 3 points of air power in play, but it's not the end of the world. He starts tapping some mana and then thinks better of it and just says done. Ultimately, it goes back to his turn. All right. And after thinking for a little while, he taps and plays Vraska. This seems like a perfect rewind target. I obviously can't let him play it because he'll kill my Soul Ring. That's really nice. Oops. All right. Untap 4 land. I'm going to get Bash for 3 here. But he doesn't have a 5th mana to replay his guy, which is really, really important. So at end of turn, I'm going to summon a 1/1. I'm playing this preemptively because it gives me a way to sacrifice a creature to a Chainer's Edict that may come along later. And he's got Beast Within to kill my Soul Ring again. That poor Soul Ring. It's been in play, back in the deck, back in play. Now it's in the graveyard. At least it got to do some work. All right, Brainstorm. So I have a bunch of different plans here, different ways that I can approach this. I could play Jorien for 3. I have a total of 6. Brainstorm, draw a card, and then if I hit an island off of that Brainstorm, then I'm in good shape because I'll have an extra card for Forbid Fuel, and I'll certainly throw away the Trinket Mage and whatever that mystery card is. Plus, I will have developed the board further. But I decide that it's just a little bit too risky right now, and I'd rather just play Nin the Pain Artist here. I have a thing I can shoot, but the main issue right now is that I need to draw a lot of cards because I'm on a 3-turn clock, and I have currently nothing in my hand that can deal with these creatures. I do have a lot of ways in the deck that can kill them. I have a Lightning Bolt that would slow it down. I have Rolling Earthquake. I have a Mole Drifter that could block as a flyer, and by Earthquake I mean a Rolling Earthquake. I have Fire Ice, which would be the best thing. I have Muddle the Mixture, a few other things that can fetch it. So it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely going to cause serious problems, and already under tremendous pressure. So I'm just going to say done here. All right. I'm not entirely sure Cur Keep even belongs in the deck, but it hasn't been terrible when I've drawn it. All right, getting Bash for 3 again, down to 6. Man, I'm very, very concerned about the situation. But if these 2 cards are not instant speed creature removal, I might still have a shot here. And then post-combat, he casts Damnation when he has a 2-turn clock in play. What on earth is going on? And I guess there is some minor justification for potentially, for example, if I had instead of Brainstorm or Trinket Mage, if I had a counter like a clunky 3-mana counter spell like a Dissolve here, I might have honestly considered countering here. Maybe. but probably not, given the fact that he just did most of my work for me. He just removed the way that he had to win the game. Crazy blunder. It's a classic example of never concede a game when your opponent might have a chance to screw it up in your favor. And he certainly did that. And then he just says done too. He doesn't even replay his commander. So I decide I'm not going to brainstorm. The reason I'm not going to brainstorm is because I want to couple the brainstorm with Jodian. Now that I've dug one card further, I feel like I have to kind of take this risk now. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to play Jodian. And then I'm going to brainstorm. And this is risky as hell. I mean, I understand that he has one card left in his hand, which I am pretty sure is not reactive, but I really can't have his commander get out again, given the fact that I can't stop it. And this is a risk. If I don't draw an island off of this brainstorm, I'm going to be in trouble. But I feel like it's time to go for it right now, given the fact that I don't even have the option of playing Nin and counterspelling next, which is what I would have done if this Terramorphic Expanse had been any other land. All right, draw a card. There's Preordain, and sure enough, 2 cards down, Seat of the Synod. That is so amazing. And Control Magic. Wow. All right, I'm going to throw back one of the search spells as well as the Terramorphic Expanse. Play the Seat. Suddenly looking pretty good. Just like that. Let's see what happens. Doctor Sleepless. What do you got? And he plays an Inventor's Fair, which could be problematic later on. But not likely to matter. And of course he casts Glissa, and I don't care about that at all, since I've got Control Magic in hand. So wonderful. Definitely not as good as Treachery, but it'll do. I'm going to make a 1/1 token at the end of the turn here. I draw the Preordain. So I know that the top of my deck has a... I know that it has that fetch land on it. So I'm pretty confident that if I Control Magic his creature and then I cast Preordain, that does tap down 3 of my 4 blue sources, which means I can't forbid. But I do get to scry 2 down, so I get to look 3 cards deep, plus I get to draw a card off Jodian, and that, I feel, is enough insurance. Plus I have the ability to... I have Ponder as a backup if I'm down to just 1 blue mana, and I could just draw a way to burn Glissa or kill it right away. And with that in mind, I decide it's worth it to take the risk here to get down below 2 blue mana and lose the potential to forbid in order to continue to develop my board. Sometimes you just have to take risks, and I feel that I'm at 6 life, and it's just way too close of a game here to not take the risk. I'm going to Preordain first, though, just to get more information. There's a Bauble and an Expanse, so those both go away. I wish there had been an island there to just make my decision easy, but I get to top deck off the Preordain, a Signet, so that makes blue, but it's still not going to work out because I'm a little bit short of being able to play the Signet and Control Magic. So here we go. I've already decided I'm committed to this plan. All right, Control Magic on Glissa. Come on, give me an island. Boom! Basic island. So awesome. Snag that thing, play the island, beat for 2. Got a 4-card hand, including a Forbid and easy chaff to throw away. I'd certainly throw away the Trinket Mage and the Signet with the intention of basically just going Ponder Nin next turn to draw an extra card to refuel the Forbid. And suddenly this game is looking almost locked up. And I see him tapping 6 mana. I'm thinking maybe something like Massacre Worm or Dread Raw. Yeah, that's getting Forbid, no question. Tapping out here. Yeah, I'm going to throw away those 2. I'm going to keep the Ponder. And just like that, Dr. Sleepless scoops it up. And I'm pretty sure that was the right play. I don't really think he has any long-term prospects here, given the fact that I have him in relative Forbid lock with Jorian in play, and I'm about to replay Nin with a number of different things to shoot with it. So I feel like this was just an awesome game of a budget deck versus a clearly non-budget deck and having to make a lot of really tough decisions. The game seemed like it was practically over on the turn when he's got his 3/3 in play as well as Hangerback Walker and a Sword of Fire and Ice in the graveyard and way more mana than me. But I had to make a couple of really tough judgment calls. I feel like I played the game really well. The Fact or Fiction turn, I think, was really decisive. Earthquaking at the right time also. I got very lucky in that there was a Soul Ring near the top of the deck. And then I still think he probably would have won this game, honestly, if he had just been more patient with his Thopters and not cast a Damnation. Maybe he expected me to counter the Damnation, so that was kind of the final judgment call that sealed the game. But I really hope you guys enjoyed that. It's always fun to beat a full-cost deck, albeit not a particularly competitive one, but a full-cost deck with the budget deck, with the budget Nin deck, and I fully intend to have a deck tech for you guys to enjoy very soon. I'm going to make a few adjustments to this certainly taking out the Complicate, and I'm probably going to take out Kirkkeep. I don't know. Maybe it belongs in there. It's a little gimmicky, but I think just having more islands is probably better in the long run. But I will see you guys soon. Stay tuned.